So I traded the new 2024 Toyota Tacoma for this. Are we there yet?
Almost. We only have 25 more hours to go.
This is a small, more like van-sized motorhome. And no, a little bit of clickbait there for you. I didn't actually trade the Tacoma. But what am I doing? You know, I had mentioned a while back about taking a long-distance trip. And I went back and forth between taking different vehicles, even thought about taking the new Tacoma, which I highly considered, as opposed to just riding in this. I thought I would just follow them here, right? In the end, I decided not to because, frankly, I would have been driving alone. I didn't have anybody with me, so it would have been a drag. My wife is flying. She's not into long distance trips, right? So I didn't bring the Tacoma. However, let me tell you, after having the new Tacoma for a while, I will say that there's really no reason why, from a comfort and performance standpoint, that I would have any issue taking the Tacoma at all. And had I had somebody with me, I surely would have driven the Tacoma. Now, let me give you a real quick tour of this, and then I'll let you guys know how the trip went and exactly what it is that I'm doing. This was home for 2 days. A trip from deep South Texas to Columbus, Ohio. It is a Ram road track, or trek, I guess. Did really, really well on the road. Take a quick look inside. There's where I spent several hours sitting, both here in the passenger and the driver's seat. Kind of confining over there, if I'm being honest. Take a look inside. You can see it's got retractable footsteps, not too bad. Room-wise, not a ton of room in here. Some birds went with us, so there were 2 cages over there, and then this little cushion area kind of spread out for a bed where somebody slept. And then there was a cushion that goes across the front seats here, kind of a board in the middle, and then cushions on the side. You kind of lay across here. It was horrible, I must admit. Bathroom area, just take a quick peek in here. Not a lot of room in that area. You guys can see there. There is a shower, combined toilet, all that stuff. Not a whole lot of space, and not a whole lot of fun when you're traveling down the road either. Little fridge here, freezer up top, microwave, stove. We didn't use any of this stuff, and that's really about it. Gotta say, it did the job, but it's pretty small. Okay, so you could see the inside of what we were in. It was a 25-hour drive. It took 2 days. And fortunately, we only had one issue, and it was right before we took off. We're all ready to go. It's a little before 7 o'clock in the morning. Get in, turn the key, and nothing happens. The battery went dead, and for no good reason. While this was sitting at a house waiting for us to go, it was plugged in. So the stock battery, probably about 3 years old, just went dead. So we couldn't leave for another hour beyond where we wanted to leave, which of course, when you're looking at a 25-hour trip, that just adds even more, right? Otherwise, this thing performed pretty well. I will say that really, it's really only meant for a couple of people. You know, there were 3 of us in it, and I would highly recommend going with something else with more space, at least more sleeping space, if you're going to have more than 2 people, because it's really just big enough for that. Drive-wise, rode really well. I've made the trip before in like I think a 40-foot motorhome, 40-some foot motorhome. That thing was terrible. Plenty powerful, but very rough on the road. And of course, being the size that it was like driving a small semi. At least that's what it felt like to me. This was a lot more car-like, and just a more comfortable ride. Plenty of power. We traveled probably, I'd say right around 79 to 80 miles an hour, pretty much the whole trip, everywhere, even through those construction zones where nobody is working, right? You know, the sign comes up 55 mile an hour, 65 mile an hour, which really cuts into the trip. I mean, it just adds so much more time, right? So we pretty much ignored that. Hopefully none of those camera things along the way actually caught us. That would have been a drag. So what have I done? Well, by the time you guys see the video, I'll actually be back in Texas. I'm staying here for something like 2.5, 3 months, something like that. Just visiting, basically. Gonna go see my daughter, stuff like that. I actually am from here, from Ohio, so it is kind of my home before Texas, I guess. Now, am I gonna miss the Tacoma? Yeah, I'm gonna miss the Tacoma. I'm already missing the Tacoma. And also the other car I just bought. By the way, never do this. Never buy a new vehicle and then head off for an extended period of time. Because if you do, you're gonna miss that. I'm talking about the Tesla Model 3. And here in Ohio where I am, there are tons of Teslas. I see them every day. But let's talk about the Tacoma. You know, the new Tacoma is out, and I thought when I got here, I would see several of them, right? Because it's a highly populated area. It's Columbus, Ohio. It's all modern and all that stuff. I haven't seen one since I've been here, and I've been here about a week so far. Not one on the road, and I find that really odd. We are going to do a couple of dealership walks or drive-throughs and things to see if they actually have any to sell. But I would think in this area that I'm in right now, there would be lots of them. So it's either a supply or a popularity thing. And I'm beginning to think it really is more supply. I know there's a lot of people out there that say they wouldn't buy it, but when I look at lots and inventory and stuff, they are moving. So I don't know that I really believe that it's just because people don't like them. Some people don't. I mean, that's obvious. If you look at the comments section, you know that. But I am not seeing them in mass here in Columbus, Ohio. Like I said, not even one. And by the way, I want to give a shout out. I believe the guy's name is Scott. I was at a store the other day and I see this gorgeous looking Lunar Rock Tacoma. And the guy kind of made the turn and rolled down his window and asked if I was Rob from, and told me he watched the channel. So that was really cool. So a big shout out to you. If you're watching this video, awesome looking truck. It really was sharp. Of course, made me miss mine even more. But anyway, there'll be some content coming up from Ohio in the form of dealership lot walks. Maybe we'll take a drive around and see if we can find any Tacomas actually on the road, meaning the new ones. And by the way, the number of Tacomas here as compared to South Texas in general is less. I've only seen a handful of any version on the road since we got here. So not quite as many as we get in deep South Texas, but you know, South Texas or Texas in general is the truck capital anyway, so it doesn't really surprise me. I will leave some pictures at the end. You guys want to see a little bit more of the motorhome back there for those interested in that kind of thing. Best way to travel besides flying, I think, except not really built for more than 2 people. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.